Hello, stampers and fellow paper crafters. It's Cindy Lynn with my Inky Fingers. Thank you so much for visiting me today on my YouTube channel and blog. For today's Ways to Use It Wednesday series, I'm going to show you how to use a die to create a super fun background. Now, I will admit this card was inspired by the one and only Laura Fedora. I will put her card up here. I absolutely love this girl. She inspires me in so many ways. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about how she inspires me later, but let's get on to the supplies that I'm going to use for now. So the Stitched Be Mine set, I used the tiniest little heart out of there, and I just cut out some copy paper just to give you a little visual. You're going to want to cut this out 12 times on just a scrap piece of Whisper White cardstock. And then you'll need a second piece for the thank you die. You're going to want to cut that out 2 times because we're going to layer that die just to give it a little bit of dimension so we don't have to be fussy with our foam strips on the back. So I've got 3 pieces of just 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 scratch paper. So 2 thank you on one, 12 of the hearts on another. That one's a matte. So I'm going to take all of these away. I'm going to list all the colors down below and I'm going to get them all die cut out. So there you can see the stencil template, if you will, how I cut those out. Now, I just picked up this tacky spray. I had to try it. I mean, come on, it's just so much easier, right? And that's the Aleene's, and I love it. It is so awesome. And when it dries, it doesn't leave sticky all over my little box there. So I was super, super happy about that. So I just sprayed it and I didn't go outside. My bad. Maybe that's why I sound like I'm a little crazy right now. I don't know. But I didn't go outside. I didn't have any ventilation and I'm still here. I'm still kicking. Nevertheless, what we're going to do with these little hearts is I'm going to bring out my trimmer and I'm going to just line it up along where the blade impresses into the actual trimmer. So I want the blade to cut it from the middle of the top of the heart right down the center. And you know me, I don't measure. So, I mean, I just eyeballed all of this. So I'm going to let this play for a little bit because I want to go back to Laura for a second. I actually thought, you know what? I want to mail her like one of these cards because I made 2, right? I want to mail her one just to show her my appreciation for all the effort she puts into her channel and how inspiring she is. So I messaged her on Instagram and I was like, hey, you know, she has no idea who I am. I'm a small fry. She's a big fish, right? I'm like, hey, I want to mail you a card if you feel comfortable, blah, blah, blah. And I'm not a crazy stalker person, really. You know, you can check out all of my information, yada, 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 make sure I'm legit. And she responded. I was like, oh my God, the one and only Laura Fedora is responding to me. And she gave me her address. So I'm like super stoked. But she has inspired me to just be me. She is so unapologetically herself when she films her videos, which is really what makes me just love her to death. I mean, even Todd watches her videos with me, but she's so unscripted and just natural and just so her. And I thought, you know what? I gotta just be me. And I have seen such growth in my channel and interaction with everybody since I stopped trying to be perfect and professional and whatnot. So anyhow, enough jibber jabber. So Laura has just inspired me so much. You definitely have to check out her channel. You will love her to death. And you probably already know who she is because come on, like she's so popular, right? Anyhow, so what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna stop jibber jabbering, and I am going to start adhering these to these little white pieces that we cut out of the Whisper White cardstock. So what I did is I wanted to keep the halves together. So the pinks and the reds and the yellows and the greens and so on and so forth. And I just cut out the white so that I had something to adhere them to. So I pre-cut everything and I pre-cut 2 for the card I was going to make off screen so that I could, you know, make it go fast. And then I cut an extra 2 for the card I was going to make on screen. And if you notice, if you cut out 2 hearts, it makes 4. I'm like, Cindy Lynn, you're so dumb. So I only needed to cut out 1 heart from each scrap piece of paper, but I cut out 4. So because I cut out 4, I'm sending one to Laura and I'm going to send one to you guys because I am so thankful that you're all here and you're supporting me and interacting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose someone from the comments. I'm just going to draw a random a random person on Sunday, and whatever, if there's 20 comments, then I'll draw a random number and that person will get the card. So I will not respond to your comments because I don't want to throw the amount of comments off. So leave me a comment down below. Tell me what you like most about my channel, and you could be the one that gets me to mail you this card anywhere in the world. So what I did here is, you know me, I don't measure, I just eyeballed. So what I did is I just kind of laid everything out where I thought it would go, and I'm lining up my background that I embossed with my subtle embossing folder, and I forgot to record that, sorry. Emboss the mat with the embossing folder, the subtle embossing folder. So what I did is I just laid everything out, and then I put the mat there along that dark black line so that I could line up that first row of hearts. And if you line the first row up and the top row up, everything else just comes into place. Now you can get fussy if you're good with a ruler and all those little ticks and 8ths and 16ths, then you know what, knock yourself out and measure it. But you know me, I don't measure, and I think it turned out just perfectly. So I've left this in real time just so you could see me putting them all on there. So again, as long as you're straight on your top to bottom on the far left side, and then across the top from left to right, as long as those are placed properly, all the rest of the little hearts are just going to fall right into place, right? So who's excited to get this card? I'm excited. I can't wait to draw a name on Sunday and mail someone a card. That's going to be so much fun. So yes, thank you. Thank you, you guys, for sure, for coming to visit me every day and putting up with me and leaving me comments and sharing your love. So I've got my thick Worcester white cardstock, and I'm just going to score that. And for the thank you, you know what? Super simple because we've already layered it. All we have to do is just put on some mono liquid glue, just tap a few little dots here and there. Don't put too much. You don't want any splooging underneath that. And it gives it a really good dimension because there's 2 layers behind that already with the hearts, right? So it's 5 layers up. So I'm just going to put my big, huge acrylic block on there. And I walked away for a few minutes to let it dry. And I'm going to put some glue on the back of the card, making sure I get a few dots in my corners. I don't like my corners peeling up, and line that up right on that thick cardstock. And that's it. Done. I mean, how easy peasy is this card? And let me tell you, the cutting is what takes a long time, but once you've got your die cutting done, honey, you are good to go. You could spend a half-hour die cutting and then just whip off a ton of these cards. And you could change the sentiment too, whichever you want. So all the supplies are listed down below. You can get all the colors there. Thank you so much for joining me today. Stay safe and be healthy. And until I see you again, take care.